Hello, I'm Nostalgia Craig. I remember, so you don't have to. No, I'm just kidding. It's David again, here with another top 10. Today we're doing Rugrats. Now, Rugrats is a cartoon, top 10, from the Nicktoon era of the early 90s. Of course, it ran up to the 2000s, of course, and they had all grown up, which was an offshoot of that. However, Rugrats was probably the most popular cartoon, from the early '90s up to until SpongeBob came out. Of course, SpongeBob is still going today, but I'd say the first 5 seasons for SpongeBob. But Rugrats, I think, is probably one of the most popular cartoons of all time, behind The Simpsons. So anyone that doesn't know what Rugrats is, Rugrats is basically about the 5 babies: Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica, who's 3 years old. And they explore life on what life is like in the mind of a baby, and what babies would think what life is all about. And of course, it has a lot of adult jokes mixed in. And as kids, a lot of us probably didn't get that unless you were mature enough to understand the adult jokes. Let me just say one thing here, a side note. The show is very out of sequence because Tommy's birthday is basically the first episode, but Angelica's birthday, and she's 3 years old throughout the entire show, but comes much later in a later season. So it's all out, and they have 2 Christmases, 2 Halloweens, 2 Christmases, and multiple other holidays, and so basically it's all out of sequence and how old they should really be. But and of course my top 10 are anything pre-dill pickles, with the original 5, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and of course Angelica, and and of course Nickelodeon has rebooted, but this was all 2D animation when it did work. Anyway, so here we go with top 10 Rugrats. This was very hard because I loved a lot of the episodes growing up, and it was really hard to choose them. So here we go, starting with number 10, Vacation. Vacation is when the whole kin and caboodle goes to Las Vegas, and Tommy wants to pet one of the Siegfried and Roy tigers. Unfortunately, this was in the 90s, and this is when Las Vegas was just starting to become more family friendly. So, because Las Vegas has become where they made a Las Vegas episode, and then coming at number 10, Vacation.
It's lovely at night. Haven't been here since the 50s. Took the town by storm, too. I want 15 drinks.
Obviously, the animation's a lot better because this is season 4. It's not as choppy as other animations. But, yeah. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you people are enjoying my content out there. Yeah. And of course, Grandpa Lou is always obsessed with the number 15. $15. Everything's the number 15 with him. That's number 10. we go on vacation, and of course Tommy wants to pet one of the Siegfried and Roy tigers, and that was actually a full half-hour episode. The next one is the Stork, which is a season 3 episode, and Tommy thinks he's gonna get a brother. Now he does get a brother, obviously later on, Dill Pickles, but again, I don't care for Dill Pickles. I think when they started adding characters, it got kind of ridiculous and stupid. But that's when the show, all shows kind of take a dip, I guess. But of course, I like the all grown-up stuff. But anything without Dill is cute. But Tommy thinks he's gonna get a baby, and of course, they're watching the Super Bowl, and this time it's the mothers that are watching the Super Bowl, and the fathers are they're supposed to be babysitting. Again, it's funny how cartoon parents, the parents are stupid and they're stupid, or they're just lacking. But the next one is the Stork, when Tommy's trying to protect Nick because they think babies come from eggs.
What are these? Greek olives. Stu, you can't put Greek olives in an omelet. Why not? They have pits in them. I knew that.
Obviously, Stu is an idiot, and he's also financially in horrible shape as a toy maker. Of course, he had a job at least twice, but he just didn't have any insurance and no savings or anything. And his brother Drew was a financial person. But anyway, the next one is called Touchdown Tommy. That's pretty much so this was the sequel. This was the first one, and that's the next one on the list. And this is that the fathers are watching the Super Bowl, and Tommy's the only one that gets chocolate milk, and of course everybody's fighting over chocolate milk. Everybody gets regular milk, and Tommy gets chocolate. So they're imitating the football game with the chocolate milk. Touchdown Tommy. Next one.
Said, give it, give me that chocolate milk. Give me the ball.
Sebastiani on the draw play.
Oh, nowhere to go, Chick.
But look at him, he squirts through to pick up 7 yards before he's finally dragged down from behind.
Nice second effort there, Chick.
Thanks, Hank. Dallas ball, 2nd and 3 at their own 18-yard line.
Second and who? 3. Turn it up, Stu. My ears on the fritz.
Here's the snap. Dawkins dropping back to throw, but the pocket collapses around him. He's trapped in the backfield. Big Bub and Nagurski breaks through.
Looks like a sack for sure, Chick.
But wait, Kincaid wide open at the line of scrimmage. Dawkins tips the ball off just as Bubba smashes into the ground.
Wow, what a shovel pass!
Sheer luck.
Here comes the draw play up the middle, but Nagurski's there and he grabs Kincaid around the knees. Oh, a fumble, loose ball.
Boy, what's going on down there, Chick?
So yes, that was the football one. Of course, the Cowboys were America's team back in the 90s. After the Niners had the 80s, it was kind of like the Niners were the 80s, and the Cowboys were the team of the 90s, America's team. And of course, Houston Oilers, which is now Tennessee Titans. And of course, since Houston left, they had their own team. But that's one of my all-time favorites. Next one is Mommy's Assets. See, Angelica, her mother is a CEO of an acquisition company, and she's a big shot, and she's not really, none of the parents are responsible at all. They're all loose and, ridiculous. And this one, Charlotte is forced to take Tommy and Angelica to work. It's called Mommy's Assets.
You are too close to the vehicle.
Hey, Mommy, the talking car.
That's nice, sweetie. What? You jumping? You know I wouldn't call one of my employees, sweetie. At least not since it's commentary.
1.
Yes, and even though Angelica is sort of the villain of the show. You know, our adversary. She's pretty much a comical character, and of course Charlotte Pickles. She had one of the early cell phones, because her cell phones were just starting to come out, and of course Chucky and Tommy, excuse me, Angelica and Tommy break. Destroy her company. Of course, they meet. That's the episode we finally see Jonathan for the first time. Next one is Angelica breaks a leg. Angelica is obviously a spoiled brat, 3-year-old. You know, for a 3-year-old, she's really spoiled by her parents. You know, and I think the term I was looking for, neglective. And she pretends to break her leg, and of course she's staying at Stu and Dee Dee's house. Tommy. You know, she's the cousin of Tommy, and she's enslaved. She's pretty much enslaved Stu and Dee Dee, because Dee Dee runs off of her book, Dr. Lipschitz, you know, kind of like a Dr. Spock, and, a German character. And the book is supposed to be always right. So the next one is Angelica breaks a leg. Angelica breaks a leg.
We're out of the ready-made stuff, but we got certain mix.
Stu, what are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
because I've lost control of my life. Here's your pudding, Angelica.
It's okay, Uncle Stu. I'm not hungry anymore.
Again, I do not own the Rugrats. Paramount Plus, Nickelodeon, Viacom, CBS owns the Rugrats. And of course, her mother Charlotte actually gets. She actually gets a broken leg. They go whitewater rafting. See, again, you know, it's funny because, you know, the whole time space-time continuum is irrelevant. You know, Tommy apparently has his bar mitzvah all grown up, and he's supposed to be 10 years old, and, you know, so everything, the timeline's just really screwed up. Anyway, the next one, party animals, next down the list, and that's where the Rugrats think that they found a genie lamp, and they make a wish that the whole world turns into what they wished, and they're actually having a costume party. Party animals.
Hey, anybody seen a bunch of babies run through here?
Sorry, kid. Say, isn't it past your bedtime?
What are we gonna do, Tommy? What are we gonna do? There's only one thing we can do. We gotta find Angelica's magic lamp, and we gotta wish for everything to be right ways again.
Aha! Found ya!
And of course, I think he's a cousin of one of the adults. And of course, he gets out at the end, and they thought it was all a dream, and it wasn't a dream. Sorry, hold on a second. Sorry. So, and again, the reason I had Paramount Plus is because it's kind of lagging, so I couldn't have all of the 10 things. I have some YouTube, some Paramount Plus here. Next one is At the Movies. The season 1 stuff is pretty much the best stuff. At the movies, Tommy wants to see Reptar, and he wants to meet Reptar, and of course and he sees his first movie, and of course the gang is, except for Angelica, the 4 of them are going to the movies, and of course they're going to see the Dummy Bears, which is kind of like the Care Bears, and Reptar is obviously the Godzilla, and so here we are at the movies.
Up here! There you are! I hate kissing movies. Nothing ever happens. Hey, what's that?
No way! Beanie Boys are by far the coolest.
You lie! Beanies are bogus. Grody boards rule.
Oh, forget you.
Forget you too, man. Lip time!
And of course, they screw with the movie theater, this concession stand. I always wanted to know about those teenagers, though. Those teenagers, those teenagers, though, you know, they are pretty interesting. I'd like to know what happened to them, especially now growing up. I wonder what happened to them as adults. We always wonder what happened because they were pretty comical, those teenagers. Next one is home movies, and this one, they're trying to do home movies, and their projector breaks down, so the babies try to make their own home movies.
That's it? This is me, and this is my mom, and this is my dad, and this is our house where we live. Keep going, honey, keep going. Yeah, this is the best. Okay, well, every day when I wake up, my dog Spike comes into the room and gets me out of my crib, and I jump on Spike's back and ride down to the and when we get to the bottom, Spike lets me off, and I fall around the house until it's time for breakfast when my mom gives me a big bowl of mush. That's mush? No, that's my mom. That's the mush. Anyway, after breakfast, Phil and Milk come over. That's me. How can you tell? Because I'm the one with the box.
Again, I apologize for the quality of, you know, some of it's Paramount Plus, some of it's YouTube. Because the Paramount Plus lags, so I couldn't have all the tabs with that. Anyway, coming at number 2 is Incident in Aisle 7, and that was a good one. See, I like the ones with, you know, Tommy by himself. You know, I love the gang, but you know, Tommy by because he tells you what a baby, you know, what life is all about. You know, that's what I think made Rugrats so wonderful. Of course, you know, it gets better and better. You know, up to until the first movie in Dill. Kind of like that with a lot of the movies, but talk about that in another segment maybe. Anyway, so Incident, of course, the teenagers are there again.
Add it all up on this dag-nabbed attic contraption. Soon as I can figure out how to fire it up. Ah, there. At least it's turned on. Alrighty. $2.79 times 12 boxes equals $53,418.37. No, that can't be. Let's try again. 25 times 15. Carry the 3. Plus.
Again, Tommy's all by himself, and of course Lou Pickles is neglectful. And of course they have the most fun. I think the one with Tommy by himself and anything with him and his grandpa are probably the most fun. That's why it was a hard one to pick. You know, top 10 now. You know, hundreds of these episodes, and and of course he's trying to find Reptar cereal. He wants Reptar cereal. Now the hardest one to find was coming at number 1. Waiter, there's a baby in my soup. This was the one where Stu Pickles actually tries to get a job with a toy manufacturer, and he meets with the owner of this toy company, and he's trying to sell him all his toys so he can get, you know, an income and get Pickles toys on the map. And of course, they go to a fancy restaurant. Apparently, this is supposed to take place in the Los Angeles area, and yeah, only of this is all Paramount Plus, Paramount, CBS, Viacom. Baby, there's a waiter in my suit. That was number 1. So, as you can see, Tommy's exploring of course they make him more adult and stuff, but yeah, that's Rugrats, and of course Mr. Hucklebuck, I think it's Huckleberry or whatever, Hucklemoney. See, Hucklemoney gets poisoned, and of course he gives him a job, and of course he probably loses his job later on, Stu Pickles, but yeah, top 10 of Rugrats. And so this is Johnny 2B, aka David, signing off. Have a good night.